What if he who must not be named was a she who must not be named? Hi guys, buckle up. Today's rumour is straight out of the Forbidden Forest. Wild, twisted and full of dark magic. We're talking about HBO's Harry Potter reboot set to drop in 2027 and a potential casting twist that was, imagine this, what if Voldemort wasn't he who must not be named, but she who must not be named? Is that why they're keeping it under wraps? Because of what happened with Snape and they don't want a massive backlash against their hands? Yep, rumour has it HBO is auditioning women for the role of Lord Voldemort. Let's dive in today to that. So there's an article knocking about on the internet. Rumour HBO's Harry Potter TV series is auditioning female actors for Lord Voldemort, Lady Voldemort role. I'll put a link in the description to the article so you can go and have a look at that yourself. It's going around in the regular forums. You've got a few people chatting about it on Reddit. Here's a scoop straight from the insider leak. Casting calls for the Voldemort role are open to both male and female actors. This isn't fan fiction, it's not TikTok theory craft, this is real, and it's supposedly tied to early flashback scenes like Voldemort's attack on the Potters and his creepy face living rent-free on the back of Riddle's head. Remember that moment? Harry Potter, we meet again. Now imagine that in a woman's voice. Let's not forget Ralph Fiennes owned this role. He wasn't just evil, he was magnetic. You couldn't look away. He made Voldemort the villain of a generation. Cillian Murphy, yeah, Oppenheimer himself was rumoured to be in the running. I made a full video about that. If you haven't checked that out, have a look at that whisper. But he squashed that quite fast. He told reporters, and I quote, "I don't know anything about that. It's just really hard to follow anything Ralph Fiennes does." Well, the man is an acting legend. Good luck to whoever fills those shoes. Mic dropped. Now let's unpack this Lady Voldemort idea. Born Tom Riddle, a half-blood orphan raised in a Muggle orphanage, haunted, gifted, dangerous. He becomes the darkest wizard in history. Now picture that same arc, but with a lady/girl, a witch, some childhood trauma, some obsession with bloodlines and immortality, some cold intellect, but different expressions of control, a different kind of fear. More like Lilith than Lucifer, more serpent than brute. And let's be real, Voldemort has always had that energy. Hairless, pale, voice like silk and venom. Even the books describe him as eerily beautiful in youth, but inhumane by the end. So, is it really that far-fetched? Okay, let's talk reactions, because when this rumour broke, the Owl post exploded. I really hope it's not true. Voldemort isn't a character that should be gender swapped. If Cursed Child is canon now, how TF would she knock up Beatrix? Not in a good way. My interest would drop if they changed such an iconic role. A black Snape stirred enough controversy. A female Voldemort, whole other can of worms. I'm all for gender equality, but the character is Tom Riddle that matters. People are not quiet about this. There's backlash, there's confusion, there's a whole civil war happening in the comments section of many videos and Reddit posts, and somewhere in the chaos, a few brave souls whisper, I've read enough fanfiction to maybe be okay with this. Tilda Swinton incoming? Actually, Voldemort was never about gender, he was about fear. Not wrong. So here's a big question, why? Why even take the risk? Well, creatively, it's a power move. It rips the reboot out of the movie's shadow. We've seen Fiennes, we've memorized his Voldemort. If you try to copy that, it's doomed to comparison. But reinvent him or her, and suddenly it's a new thing. Imagine her, a girl born into rejection, told she was too much, too loud, too ambitious, called unnatural, dangerous, wrong. So she leaned in. She studied every spell, mastered every curse, and when they begged her to be small, she chose power instead. That sounds like Voldemort to me. Power never cared for your permission. Alright, dream casting time. Because you know we had to. Tilda Swinton, otherworldly, regal, terrifying, evergreen, seductive, unhinged, genius. Kate Blanchett, icy, royal, unstoppable. Any of them could slay. Now, yeah, we have to address the elephant in the room of requirements. J.K. Rowling. Given her public views on gender identity, this twist feels ironic, maybe even rebellious. She's still listed as executive producer, but HBO seems determined to blaze their own trail. Is this gender swap a message or just a bold narrative choice? We don't know, but it adds another layer to this already charged debate. Let's face it, Voldemort's origin is tied to being Tom Riddle. The name, the anagram, I am Lord Voldemort, it doesn't work the same if she's born with a different name. So does HBO rewrite that part, or do they keep the soul of the character while changing the skin? Can you alter the vessel but preserve the essence? That's the real question, and it's the one that splits fans right down the middle. Here's what's confirmed. Dominic McLaughlin as Harry, Arabella Stanton as Hermione, Alistair Stout as Ron, John Lithgow as Dumbledore, Pape Azedu as Snape, Nick Frost as Hagrid, Louise Browley as Madame Hooch, Bal Powley as Petunia Dursley, Daniel Rigby as Vernon Dursley, and there's plenty more you've been seeing leaks about, and I've got plenty of videos on that. But the Voldemort casting still under wraps, which means the Lady Voldemort theory is still in play. Some fans are already joking about it. This would be the turning point of the show. Guys, don't worry, it's BS. Yeah, and not in a good way. I refuse to believe they are this dumb. And of course, some are intrigued. I already am not as excited for this show because of Snape. This would make me lose all interest completely, someone was saying over on Reddit. I could audition too, but doesn't mean I get the role. There is no way this is true. No bloody way. So who's right? Maybe both sides. The Harry Potter fandom is massive. General, global and passionate. Generational, global and passionate. It survived Dumbledore being gay, Snape being black, Hermione in a Time Turner play, and a Fantastic Beasts series we all pretend doesn't exist. But a female Voldemort, that would be a first. And firsts make history. Let's go back to the core. Voldemort's arc is a warming power, obsession, fear of death, not about gender. What made Tom Riddle so terrifying wasn't that he was a man, it was that he lacked humanity. No love, no remorse, no soul. A female version of that, just as terrifying, maybe more, because we don't expect it. We're still uncomfortable with women being monstrous without reason. We want witches to be misunderstood, cursed, tragic. Lady Voldemort, she'd just be evil on purpose. So what if the show takes that swing? What if the next face under Quirrell's turban is a pale, sharp-boned woman whispering parcel tongue? What if she stands barefoot in the graveyard in year 4 reborn in a swirl of blood and ash? And it's not Fiennes, but someone new, someone ancient, someone female. Would you still watch? Would you turn away, or would you lean in because you'll never seen this kind of Dark Lord before? There you have it. If a Voldemort's the villain we never saw coming, a female twist could make HBO's Harry Potter reboot the version we didn't know we needed. Hit like if you're Team Voldemort, subscribe for the casting scoops, and tell me in the comments who would you cast as Lady V. Until then, stay magical. Additional quotes and real fan responses pulled from across social media and Reddit. HBO's Harry Potter series premieres in 2027. And the article referred to here was the Gazette Sci-Fi and Fantasy rumor of HBO's Harry Potter TV series auditioning female actors for Lord Voldemort. The article was by Josh Wilding on the website sffgazette.com.